Alright guys, it's David here with What Not to Do. I'm going to do a little something different tonight. As many of you know, I'm an avid deer hunter, outdoorsman and stuff, and that's kind of a passion in my life just as much as eating hot foods. And I like to make my own deer jerky. And there's two ways to do that, and I want to kind of share those with you tonight. I got some stuff thought out and already started, so hopefully it won't take too long of a video, but give you a few pointers if you're going to do this. If you bagged a deer and you want to know how to skin it and have full, I have a video, if you'll check it out, how to skin a deer using an ATV. It kind of makes it easy. I don't always do my deer that way. Usually I don't. We've done a bunch of deer that way, but usually we go ahead and skin them out. But if you do want to check it out. You can find all kinds of YouTube videos, how to quarter up a deer, everything else. So we're going to get right to it. The first thing though, you got to have venison jerky, you need a deer. Next thing you need is a cure and a season. What I like to do is I like to go to Cabela's and buy this. I will have a picture of this. This is Cabela's hickory jerky making kit. And what's included in this, I've already got some of it out, but it's the instructions. Now these instructions aren't the greatest, and I'll put them up here for you to look at right now. So there you go. If you pause and do whatever you need to do. But there's two types to way to make. There is a whole muscle jerky where you kind of quarter the deer out and use the whole muscle. To do that, you need to kind of get all the fat and the silver off from it. You can. Once you skin it out, you'll know what the silver is. It's silver color. And the fat. And you need to slice the whole muscle, such as a backstrap. A lot of people generically call that a tenderloin. Tenderloin, actually, you have to go inside the stomach and get it. It's a very small amount, but the back straps, cut the silver off, get the what fat you can off. You can leave a little bit, but slice it in about a 1/2 inch sections. You take it and you mix the cure and the seasoning with a 1/2 cup of water. You mix all that good together. You put it in your mix it with your meat, 5 pounds of meat for this. This makes 15 pounds total in the pack, but you take 2 packs of this, cure and a seasoning for 5 pounds of meat. So you mix that all together and let that set for 24 hours. And I'm going to show you here in a minute what it looks like. I've had this soaking for 24 hours, marinating. It's important to use a cure when you're making jerky. Very important, because botulism. As you're field dressing a deer, gutting it, and all this stuff. I know some people don't like to hear this, but you can nick some of the bowels, intestines, or even the bladder, and that can get on the meat and, infect it with bacteria. So you need to make sure, to be safe from botulism, that you use a cure. The cure will keep you safe from that. Also, I recommend that you freeze your meat for at least 30 days before attempting to make any kind of jerky. When we make jerky, a lot of times we don't go up to over 165, 170 degrees. We're down about 150. So with it not being fully cooked, you need to make sure you follow these precautions. And this is my guide. I mean, there's people out there that don't do it and do it in vegetable dehydrators and all that stuff. They get like 135. I don't recommend that. Use cure. Use a good meat dehydrator. The good thing about a meat dehydrator, and I'll show you mine in a little bit. I've got a really nice one. If you get one for meat, you can do everything else. If you get one for fruits and vegetables, it's hard to do meat properly. The other way, we're kind of getting off subject here, but the other way to do it is to grind your meat. And what I usually do is I'll do the back straps. I'll slice them up to the 1/2 inch, so I've got that nice jerky there. The rest of the deer, I clean it up, get the silver off and the fat. I don't have to get all of it off because I've got a commercial grinder, and I grind it. I grind it on coarse, and then I will shoot the jerky gun and of course mix the seasoning with it and stuff. So I have both of those prepared in the refrigerator right now. I'm just getting home and I gotta get these on tonight. So I'm gonna share this with you. I'll be right back once I get this stuff out and get it prepped, and we can go through the next step of this. But I hope you enjoy this. So here we go. We've got two different kinds of meat. There is our whole muscle jerky made out of the back straps of the deer I killed last year. And this is almost a year old. The meat, it holds up pretty good. I've got a vacuum sealer and stuff. I don't think I vacuum sealed this though, but you know, it holds up pretty good. There's still a bit of red in there. What you kind of don't want, you want to make sure that you get the cure and everything mixed in there really good. Like I said, you take your cure, your seasoning, and a half a cup of water, mix it together, and then pour it on it and stir it up. So I've just stirred this up again to make sure that I get everything evenly coated. So I may give it a little bit longer here. So one way, and here's the other. This has no seasoning or anything or any cure mixed with it yet. When you do ground meat, you don't have to let it set to 24 hours. You can pretty much immediately go into it. So it kind of makes it a lot better. And shoot out your jerky gun. So this, you've got to let it soak in, so it kind of gets into the meat and everything. That cure helps cook it and kill bacteria. This is you can do pretty quick away. So that being said, we'll do some more prep here. Make sure that I cover anything else that I may have missed when I come back on. So again, here we are. This is the dehydrator I'll be using. This is Cabela's 10 tray deluxe dehydrator. This thing usually sells, I think, for $150 or something. I caught it on sale during the Black Friday deal for like $99. This is capable going up to 160 degrees Fahrenheit and down to 80 degrees. As we're cooking this jerky, we're going to be doing the 160 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a pretty nice dehydrator. Pretty good size trays inside of it. Spin around here to kind of give you the size of it. It does have a large exhaust fan and a large heater on it. I think this thing, well, I'm not going to think, I'm going to tell you, it's 900 watts. That matters to you all out there. So it does a really good job of heating. When I am cooking with the jerky, I will turn it just like this to make sure that that heat just isn't hanging underneath my cabinet. It's circulating good. The air is coming in through here, sucking it in and blowing it out, and it can go around. I use this thing to dehydrate my peppers, my really hot peppers, my scorpions, ghosts, Carolina Reapers and stuff. It does an excellent job. So if you're in the market for one, this may be what you're looking for. So this is my jerky gun of choice. I've had this is my third one. This one got from Cabela's. Got it kind of on the Black Friday special. I can't remember what I gave for it, but it was marked down considerably. You see in the background, I've got seeds drying for my scorpions and ghost peppers for next year, so I've got several of those. But we'll open this bad boy up, give you a chance to see what's inside. Like I said, this one, they make one more larger that I wouldn't mind trying at all. But at the time when I bought this one, this was kind of the largest that I've seen there. So this is what's included in it. You get the tube, I call it the caulk handle. It's like for a caulk gun. I don't ever use this. Of course, you have to use this to get going through their stuff or cleaner. The main thing I use is these two cleaners, this and this. Of course, it's got another one inside there, but that allows you to two at once. I have used this one before, but I just don't prefer. I like this one better. And I have made some sticks before where I've used this. But typically this is my go-to. So let me give you a word of warning about this too. This is aluminum. We got a bad habit of putting it in the dishwasher. It don't do the best. It kind of corrodes up a little bit. You can see it's got a little bit here. What I'll do is I'll spray a little bit of cooking oil inside this before I start sliding it in and out. It just makes it easier to get the jerky in and out, to lube it up. So that being said, let's get on to the next step. Alright, so I'm going to try to do this by myself. What I have is I'm going to wait for my wife to get home to do the mixed jerky because it's easier loading the gun with 2 people. I can do it by myself, but we just have a system that goes along and it works pretty well. I pulled all the trays out of my dehydrator. Whatever's left tonight, if you have any kind of peppers you want to dehydrate, now's a good time to do it as well. If your machine's going to be running, stick them in there as well. So, got the whole muscle jerky here. I've stirred it up and let it set a little bit longer. So I'm going to take one of these, and let's see if I can't get this down here where it's going to show really well. And I've disinfected this really well, so here's our first batch, our first tray. As you can see, this meat, it does still have some fat in it and stuff, and that does make it a little chewier. But if you have to cut every bit of the fat out, it kind of makes it a pain in the butt. So I do leave a little bit, and I space it out. Like, see, that's a great piece. And this is the back strap, like I said. There's a little bit there, fat left. Give it room. And this is, you can see the thickness of it. That is about a 1/2 inch thick, plus or minus, a 1/16 or something. And again, like I said, there's a little fat there, but it's just part of it. If you just cleaned everything up, then you'd be just working at it for hours when you do your cleanup work. And not much gain as far as taste goes. When I did do this, when I put the cure and the seasoning with the 1/2 cup of water, I did mix some of my dried pepper mix with it. I'll have to show you how to do a dried pepper mix. It's really good. I mix some jalapenos, not very many jalapenos, but reapers, and I'm studying here, trying to get it like a puzzle piece. And you can see here I dried the peppers on this before, but that's not gonna hurt it. Reapers and scorpions and ghosts, and I ground them up. Don't use your wife's blender or anything else. Go to the yard sale like I did, or buy your own generic Walmart, like a NutriBullet deal. I bought mine in the yard sale, I think, for $3. And because they're plastic. And when you mix all those peppers together inside there, not so much if it's dry, if it's wet, like if you're making a sauce, the residue stays, the oils will stay in the plastic. And as my wife and daughter found out, if you're going to make a milkshake or a smoothie or anything after, it can be quite hot. And so, therefore, it didn't take us long to figure out that I needed my own grinder for those items. So, let's say I try to leave a little bit of space in between and stuff. And this being the thicker jerky, the other would be thinner. This will go toward the top of the dehydrator. And usually I do preheat it before I stick the meat in there, but it don't really make that big a difference. I just didn't want all the noise going in the background. So, lay it out there. And like I said, when I cut my deer up and get it ready, if I know I'm gonna make jerky out of it, I pre-package it into 5-pound freezer bags or 5-pound bags that will be vacuum sealed. That way, it's the mix I buy, and I've been buying it for years. It's 5-pound mix. So each one of those little baggies, you take one baggie of cure and one baggie of seasoning for 5 pounds of meat. And if you choose, you don't have to use venison for this. This works really well with any kind of lean steak or brisket or anything. If you want to make it with that, it will make the same. So we've got our meat laid out here, and I only use 3 trays. The dehydrator will make, I'm gonna wash my hands here. I'm kind of going off camera, but I'll continue to talk. The dehydrator will do about, if you space it out really nicely and really chunk up everything, it'll do about 12 pounds of meat at one time. I keep it down to 10, strictly because that's the easiest amount to do. Usually I make it in 5 or 10 pound batches. So, and when I do this, I wash my hands regularly. I keep a rag just for drying my hands after. Once I'm done, I will do away with it. Put it in the dirty clothes. So here we go. I'm gonna put it in the dehydrator. I said this whole muscle jerky, I'll always put toward the top. 1, 2, 3. And this will go, it's exactly 5:30 right now. So this thing's gonna make a lot of noise when I kick it on. I didn't touch anything that really, but I'm still gonna rinse my hands again just in case. Screw this up a little bit here. So, 3 trays, that's approximately 5 pounds. When I do quarter my deer up and stuff and cut it ready for this jerky, I do soak it in ice water. I want to get the temperature down and get as much of the blood out as I can. You will end up with some residue, some blood residue when it thaws out. So make sure you put it, when you're throwing it out, inside a container of some sorts. At Cabela's, I bought the large meat trays and stuff. And if I'm making salami, I'll probably do a video on salami when I do make it again. But I mix all my stuff kind of in there. Long story, but those are really handy to throw in the refrigerator because they will fit just inside the refrigerator. Catch all the juice, even though it's in freezer bags or whatever, you still get something. You don't want all that in the refrigerator because our wives don't like that. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. So that's going. Once my wife gets home, Cody, we'll do the other. I'll mix it up and stuff, but I will use this same bowl. It's got a little bit of the seasoning left in it, residue or whatever, so there's not no reason to dirty another bowl. But like I said, once I get done, I'll sanitize everything real good. So give me a few minutes and let me get everything together so I can go into that aspect of it. Alright, we're still going here. I went ahead and decided to go ahead. She's not home yet. I got hung up at work. So what I've got, I did change bowls. Sorry, honey, I messed up another bowl. I wanted something a little wider mouth, and I get there and mix it better because that's an important deal when doing this, is to make sure it's mixed thoroughly. One thing I do like, another thing I like about the Cabela's hickory or any of their, this is their open season spice blend line of seasoning, is that it's labeled. that's labeled jerky, hickory jerky 2 ounce. So that's the seasoning. And here's the jerky cure 2 ounces. And again, I'm a firm believer in the cure. The cure. As well as when you make this jerky. You can make all kinds of different recipes online, but unless you put a cure in it, you're not killing the bacteria that's going to cause botulism. And I may be repeating myself, but that's an important fact. I don't want any of y'all to get sick out there. I mean, it's with everything else is going on. Garbage. And this is my blend of crushed pepper, I call it. This is scorpions and ghosts and all that good stuff, and it's, I don't know if you can see down there real good or not. This is pretty spicy, but when you use it in moderation, it adds a nice spice without overwhelming it. So I am going to put, just opening that after shaking it, so I am going to put a dash of that in there. And I've never shared this with Cody and Carly because they would like, I can't eat that because it's got your hot stuff. I've always made it like this. Just to give it that little bit extra zing. And you know, the guys I work with and everything, they've always asked me what's my recipe when I take my jerky and stuff. You know, I've had one guy over in the tool room, it's the best homemade jerky I've ever had. How'd you make it? And I try to give them honest directions on how I do make it, what I make it with. That's just as important as how you make it. The equipment you use, because like I said before, if you're using a fruit dehydrator, you just can't get it there. And you can hear this thing running in the background. It is a noisy thing. So I stir this up real good, and I will go ahead and tilt the camera down. I am using a DJI. It's called something 3, Osmo 3 gimbal here to video with, and my cell phone, Samsung Galaxy S9. If anybody's wondering, so get all that in there. You know, it's all in there. Now here comes the part a lot of people don't think about: mixing. We're going to mix. And mix and mix. It requires a lot. It ain't just a minute or two to mix. It's a full at least 5-minute mixing. Usually hands get a little tired from it, because you need to make sure that cure touches every part of the meat. If it doesn't, then that part of the meat isn't safe from botulism. So if you want to store your jerky for an extended amount of time, then that is super important. Usually what I do to store my jerky is I will put it in the refrigerator, although, you know, with the cure and stuff, it don't have to be, but I will put it in the refrigerator, and usually my jerky don't last very long. So between me sharing it with friends at work and everything else, so I'm going to keep mixing. I'm sure that I will fast forward this video so you don't have to endure through this. Alright, so we've been mixing this a while, and as you see, this meat is starting to get extremely tacky. That's what you want. Also, it's becoming a consistent color. Any red that you had in it before starts coming out, and it's all kind of a brownish color. That perfectly ideal for making jerky. That means that you've got all the cure mixed in there really good. I'll give it another stir here. And like I said, it's tacky, it's sticky, tacky, and everything, which is a good deal. When you're making it with ground meat, and this kit, I have made this with I forgot what it is, the leanest of the ground beef. You can buy it Walmart or Sam's or Kroger. I prefer not to shop at Walmart. They don't take care of their employees good enough, so I try to shop at Kroger as much as I can. Excuse me. Let me get this peeled off here. And again, my wife, she's still not home, so let's go ahead and get started on this. I'm going to go ahead and grab 3 of these racks, and I'm only going to touch 3 of them.
This is the way.
And grab my jerky gun. What I have done is I've already installed the twin tip, such as that. Took the back off. I've got the caulk end of it, as I call it here. And a lot of times what you do is just ball this up. Put it in balls and put it in. Slide it right in there. I'm dropping it everywhere, but I'm trying to get in front of the video camera here so y'all can see it better. So stuffing it in this big caulk gun. You'll kind of get the feeling when you're close to the end, when it's getting full. No matter how much you press it in there, you're still going to have a little air in it. You'll find out when you're doing it. Alright, so let's start with that. Like I said, by yourself you make a little bit more of a mess, but you can do it. You install the screw part over here, which for some reason is not one to. I think it's a little offset. Let's squeeze that just a little bit. And I did, like I said, I took and sprayed just a little bit of cooking oil inside this tube, and then wiped out the excess. Get this little dangle here. So we're starting to. Alright, got some meat coming out. So the thing is, don't run it real fast. Let it kind of stack up. Let it make it a little thicker. I found this makes a better jerky in the long run. As you can see, it's kind of pushing up and making bubbles. Kind of like if you know about welding, you don't let your bubble build. It just makes a little better jerky. Get to the end, take your finger. Put you a small amount in between. You want to try to put that same amount on the other side. Just give it a little room for air to flow through there. That way you get the good dehydration going on, the airflow. If you get a little extra on the end, just kind of cram it down in there. It'll be alright. As you can see, there is fat in this. You know, if you go through and, like I said, take all the fat out, you're going to spend a lot of time. The commercial type grinder that I have doesn't have a problem grinding it. So whatever grinds goes. They're kind of like a U.S. Postal Service. If it fits, it ships. And I think that's my other my other half coming in. I don't know whether you call it better, my better half or not, but she's one of those. So got there to the end. I'm gonna stuff it again. Cody, you're just in time to help me make jerky on camera.
No, thank you.
For all our viewers out there. I was telling them it's a lot easier when we got 2 people. I kind of got a mess though.
Is that the hot?
No, I haven't made it hot yet. I'm gonna make the last one hot, so I will have to have your help for that. You wanna come get on camera?
No.
My daughter Carly's sitting there looking at me. She's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, I smell the jerky.
It smells good, don't it? She's my little jerky eater. So you kind of get the gist of this. I will probably fast forward through all this, so you don't have to endure the whole time doing this. I will stop here in a second when I get down to the last run, because I'll make that my own special super spicy. How was your day?
Fun. I didn't take my lunch after Tara bought our lunch. We should do a fast forward to the what is it, Flight of the Bee.
I can't use anything like that because it's copyrighted. That way if it ever goes monetary. Alright, I am going to need your help right here. I'll need give me a on the back side of me right here is a white canister, and give me a butter knife real quick. Alright, so I'm getting ready to make my own personal really hot. So I've got Cody helping me here. I don't want to get her hands dirty, so hand me that. I clean this out, knock all the extra meat out. So I've got 3 of just plain jerky. Not considering those other 3 that I've got in the dehydrator. So she has my hot stuff, my crushed pepper. I'm moving on camera a little bit so you can see it. Start adding it to it. It's probably good. So there's an ample dose of this stuff in there. And it's, what do you think it smells like? You smell the heat from it?
Yeah.
So this is going to be pretty warm. It's not going to be extremely hot. If I want to make it extremely hot, I'd go downstairs and get some of my pure extract and add to it, but this adds a good heat to it while maintaining that good flavor, in my opinion. So just get that mixed in there good. Just get her sneezing, just smelling this stuff. So, all right. So we got that all mixed up. Let's get our end put back on there, and let's get her stuffed. Now you gotta think, this, I'm putting dehydrated peppers into jerky. So as this gets drier, this jerky is going to be kind of more of a creeper. So when you eat it, it's going to kind of creep up on you, if you get what I'm saying. Because the saliva in your mouth will have to hydrate the pepper flakes, even though they are getting kind of partially hydrated right now. But before they start feeling the heat. So I got that about right. 1, 2. So just kind of sling my hand off here. Put that in there. Put this in the sink. So Cody can have something to do later.
I think not.
Put the gun together. And I do have some scraps and stuff that's falling. Most of these I'll just throw in the garbage. You can get without losing a little bit. And you can see how nasty this gets. When you do it with 2 people, you don't necessarily get it like that because you're not handling all the various places. We'll squish this out here. Nice thick jerky. And the more of this you do, you kind of get the hang of it. So, your first time, take your time. You know, this is something you can be proud of. All your co-workers and friends, you know, they're going to say, hey, man, he makes some really good jerky. And it makes you proud to know that you're doing a good job with your deer. You know, that's the way to be an ethical hunter. You need to make sure that, I should turn this sideways, that you do use your deer. Don't just go out and kill a deer just to be killing a deer. Make sure that you use the meat from the deer. You know, I know people that go out and just kill them and don't care. That's not a way to be. You know, I go after a big buck if I get it. But if I can't eat it at this point, I'd probably just stop. I like squirrel hunting a lot, but I rarely squirrel hunt anymore just because I don't eat squirrel. I'm not a big fan of it. I know people out there do. And the last squirrels I did kill, we live over here some next to some Amish people. I took and gave them to the Amish guy. Just because I didn't want to go to waste, and that was a couple of years ago. So what you're going to end up with at last is a kind of a big meatball. What I do, and this is the first piece I eat. This is my favorite. Is I take this thing and I make me a disc out of it. Make me a big nice disc. I'm trying to get it the same thickness as the jerky there. So now that I've got my big disc, let's go over here and wash our hands. It's hot water and Dawn. Dawn dish liquid. It works for everything. use the same rag here that I've been using to dry my hands off with, this orange towel. I'm off of good. And I always come back. Like I said, this is kind of my special deal. I like stuff a little hotter than most. I'm gonna coat this pretty decent. Let's put a little bit more on here. I know this one by itself here is gonna be a little spicier. Kick it up a nickel. So, alright. I'll keep these toward the bottom. We will be flipping these as we go. But we will turn them when they're in the dehydrator after so long. We'll turn them on this way, and then we'll move them up and down accordingly so that they get evenly dried. Because you know heat does rise, and everybody knows that. So let's see if I've got there's a little pin. I'm going to make a little mark on the end of this one. And so, do a little Sharpie. This one with the blue Sharpie and that one is the hot. The bottom being the hottest, but it's got when it's my hands back off, I try to keep them off stuff that was already touched, so I'm going to go full deal. So the whole muscle jerky has been in here for about roughly a half hour. Let me see if I can get this thing to swivel around here like I want it to. So the whole muscle jerky's been there for about a half hour. Let's take a look at it after a half hour. Alright, so here we are at about 3.5 hours. We want to check this jerky out. I've done had it open and looked at it. You see on the top here, it's starting to get dry. This is still going to go to tomorrow, overnight. It's still kind of thick and juicy. This is all that whole muscle jerky. Come on down here. I've done flipped this over. This is just about done. You will take it off before most people think it's done. You'll still feel a little squishy, but it's been in here, like I said, 3.5 hours. Probably get another 45 minutes. I pick little pieces like this off, like that. Try and see how my flavor's gonna be. It'll be pretty good. The further you go down, the less it's done. I probably should move all this more toward the top, but this is my hot, so I want to be careful with it. But I flipped it all over. I need to flip this one too. Move it back toward the back. So there we go at 3.5 hours. We're gonna let it go a little longer, and then we'll come back here and pull it out and put it in the refrigerator. So. Alright guys, it's 11:30. This has been on since 5:30. So, what is that, 6 hours? So, this should be done. The other, you can see the muscle jerky's coming along nicely. Actually, really nice. But here, yeah, that's done. And I swapped it around. The two on top right now are the hot ones. You can tell there's the little blue mark I made. And the jerky isn't. It's still a little soft. You know, it's not real hard. With my peppers, I'm gonna turn them again and move them up. But usually from here, what I'll do is I'll break all this in half and take and throw it in a container such that I'm out of Ziplocs right now. Ziplocs work best. But I want to get here to this hot. Of course, I keep it away. I'm just going to have a bite of this since I've done kind of been asleep. But and you may think, it's raw inside and all this. No, this is good. This is really good. That's what you want. Between the cure, being dehydrated at 160 degrees, it's perfect. And it'll continue to dry in the refrigerator. That's just when we took it off now. So, there it is. Once you get this in a airtight container, keep it there until you're ready to eat it. It lasts the best. So, that being said, guys, hope you enjoyed my version of deer jerky. Alright, here we are back again. It's been about 12 hours on this jerky here. Oh yeah, that is done. It's still got a little bit of flexibility to it, but it's dry. So there we have it. Now let's check it all that. That piece may need a little bit longer. I'm gonna pick through some of this thicker, may go on for a little bit longer. But for the most part, it's done.